Well, hey folks, my name is Brad, and today I have brought my metal detector to this half-frozen lake up in the mountains of Vermont, because what makes this beach so special is hundreds of years ago, there's actually a farm where I'm standing right now. But a dam was built. This whole area got covered up with water. But as you might be able to tell, the water is low today. All of these old stone foundations are exposed, so we're gonna see if we can find a few treasures they may have left behind hiding in the mud. Now, if this is one of the first of my videos that you've seen, I publish one of these every single Friday. So if you like what you see here today, consider hitting that subscribe button, or just come on back next week. I'm gonna get that metal detector out, see what we can find. Well, we've got an 86. Sounds like it's right on top. We got, it's a rivet. It's a good sign that there's old stuff like this. This is an old leather rivet, probably from a harness for working animals, or really it could be anything leather. It's a good sign that this is so close to the surface and that nobody has found this yet. 71. Oh, what do we got here? Nice. Let's get this washed off here. Well, as far as I understand it, this farm was here the middle of the 1800s up until it was covered with water, unfortunately, the very early 1900s. So as far as the coins that I would hope to find here, I'm not really expecting any of those big copper pennies. Small cents, I have actually already found a few wheat cents, but this is my first Indian head cent. And we have to keep in mind it has been in the sand underwater for over 100 years. It looks like 1890? I'll have to confirm that once I get home and kind of look at it a little bit closer and clean some of this corrosion off here. But just something about finding a coin that we don't see in circulation anymore. Of course, wheat cents are fun to find as well, but the Abraham Lincoln design is on our pennies today. It doesn't seem as old as something like this, where we don't see this in circulation hardly ever. Maybe a coin star every once in a while. So cool. There's got to be more, and we have to keep in mind too, the higher denomination coins of this time period were silver. So we can be hopeful for that. Let's see what else we can find. Very shallow, 62. Whoa, nice. Well, what we have here is a little flat piece of lead. It's turned white from being in the water and in the ground for so long. And you know, we're metal detecting on the shore of a lake. We're expecting to find lead in the form of sinkers, but this is not a sinker. This flat piece of lead actually has text on it, and it's the same on both sides. I believe it's M8CO. M8CO. And this is a bale seal, although it's probably the smallest one I have ever come across. Now, bale seals, as far as I understand it, came in two varieties. Some of them had a piece of wire melted into them, and they would use that wire to close up bales of whatever, seeds, grain, things like that. And then they also had types of bale seals that had two parts to it, and they clamped together to be put on fabrics. This one has no remnants of wire, and it doesn't appear as though it clasps onto anything, although it does seem like there's a little hole right there. So I'm not exactly sure what this would have been on. We'll see if we can figure anything out about M8CO. I suspect this is a bale seal from the early 1900s, when the most activity was happening here. Really cool find. Anytime I find anything with text on it, it gives me something to research. I'm happy. Let's see what else we can find. Well, this target's just a 50. Oop. See it. Is that a button? Oh, looks like it's a two-piece button. Like, ooh, there's something on there. Let's find some water here. Not too hard. No way. Yeah. Man, I cannot tell you how excited I am about finding this button right now. Now, folks who may have watched my channel for any period of time probably know that I do the bulk of my metal detecting in Vermont. I'm a Vermonter myself, actually a 7th generation Vermonter. And one of my holy grails when I started this hobby was finding the Vermont coin. I've been lucky enough to find 3 of them now, but I have not yet found any military buttons that have anything to do with Vermont until now. It is difficult to make out because it isn't in very good shape, but as soon as I saw this crest with the deer head on top, I knew exactly what this is. It says Vermont up at the top, and this is Civil War era, 1850s, 1860s, I believe. There's a back mark on here, which should give us a very good idea of exactly when this was made. And although there were not actually any Civil War battles in Vermont, except the St. Albans Raid, which doesn't technically count, Vermonters did participate in the Civil War. And it seems clear now that the inhabitants of this farm were among them. What an amazing find. Now, I have found Civil War era buttons for New York and Massachusetts and even Maine, and they are in my military button display case, but this one, top shelf. Not an artifact that's particularly valuable monetarily, but valuable to me, that's for sure. Man, amazing find.
Well, this is a 90, but there's a bottle right there, and right over there I actually found a bottle capsule on a bottle, so that's probably what this is too. Nope. What is that, a Daredevil? Vintage. There he is. Beautiful 82 right here. This? Look at this. What is this? Well, you know, it looks old, whatever it is.
Well, we have the first mystery find of the day, and truth be told, I find things I can't identify all day long, but I tried to show the interesting looking ones to the camera. And this one I think qualifies, and when it first came out of the ground, I thought for sure this was something old, given the bright green patina on this brass. But as I cleaned it off a little bit more, I noticed it does have a screw, which leads me to believe it's on the newer side, but the real question is, what the heck is it? It looks like a bit of a lever, but to what, I have no idea. So I turn to you folks. Do you know what this is? Pretty sure it's old. I'll let you know if I find any more of it.
This is a beautiful target, 87. What's in this clump? It's gonna be junk, treasure. Looking like, well, neither. Little horse tack buckle. Deep too. There's a lot of junk going on over here with iron and stuff, but it seems like there's a pretty nice clear 95 right here. It's out. What do we have here? Oh my God, is that silver? I can't believe. Oh my God, is that a barber? Unbelievable. Oh, heck yeah, $50.
Man, I cannot believe that just happened. I can count the number of $50 I have found on one hand, and most of them are Walking Liberty $50. This is what we call a barber $50 because of that design on there. 1911, and you know, truth be told, it's not in the best condition. It has been underwater for 100 or so years. But there is just something about finding a giant silver coin and being the first one to touch it since it fell into the ground 100 or so years ago. Man. And we have to remember too, the world and the United States was a different time back then. This was a ton of money, 50 cents in 1911. Now that it's drying out a little bit, we can see that the back is turned a little bit black. The front's a little bit black as well. But that's okay, I'm not gonna do anything to this coin. Man, what a find. $50. Still can't believe it.
Well, right here, I got a Daredevil fishing lure. Very similar target right here. Is it another one? Nope, not Daredevil, something else. Must have been a log or something here that everybody got hung up on. Funny. Something sounds like there's two targets right here. I don't know, let's see, 63. Appears to be a musical reed, double-sided.
Well, it was just a few weeks ago, down in Pennsylvania, I actually found a handful of these things. First time I'd ever found more than one or two, but here we are again in Vermont this time with another handful. So these are reeds to a musical instrument. Judging by their size, I'm gonna guess that they are from a small accordion, but there are several instruments in that family that all have very similar looking reeds. And you know, it shouldn't be surprising that I'm finding a bunch of them all together, because you can assume that they threw the whole instrument out, and then most of it was wood, so all that's left are these reeds. It's much more unlikely you would just find one. Right? Why would you just be missing one reed from your accordion? But these were all roughly in the exact same area, so you have to assume that they threw away the whole instrument. But this area where I am finding them, there is glass all over the top, pottery in the dirt. You have to assume that maybe either this is the dump or it was up above and the kind of snow melt washed it all down here. Very interesting find, especially given the amount of them. Really tells a good story.
77. No frickin' way. Are you kidding me? What is that doing here? Unbelievable.
Man, in shock. Now, if you don't already know what this is, it's not valuable, but it's exciting for me because I thought that the people who lived here settled here in around 1850, but this officially is called a chape, but this is essentially part of a buckle that folks wore on their shoes in the late 1700s, early 1800s. A shoe buckle chape. Think stereotypical pilgrim. Now, what is it doing here? As far as I understand it, these fell out of fashion in the very early 1800s, so I don't see any reason why this would be here, except maybe an older member of the family, not quite up to date on the new fashion, was still wearing their shoe buckles around. Grandpa's old shoe buckles, maybe. But what an awesome find. We find these fairly often at colonial sites, late 1700s, but almost never at sites that are of this age. What a surprise. Never in a million years would I have guessed we'd find this today. But that just goes to show we may be able to find even older coins, artifacts. You never know what might be hiding underneath this water. All right, folks, well, that's gonna do it for me today. And you know, it's funny, I almost didn't even attempt coming here today. I thought the water probably isn't gonna be low enough. There's no chance the ice is gonna be melted or that there's not gonna be snow here. But it turns out we just had this very narrow strip of beach, which is all we needed. And you know, we didn't find a ton of stuff today, but definitely quality over quantity. That $50 and the Vermont button, amazing finds. I've got it all laid out here. Let's take a look at it. Well, starting over here on the right, we have a little pile of pistol balls, 5 of them, a rivet, 4 buttons, although this one that looks very, very pretty and interesting, I believe is actually more of an upholstery tack. 1 horse tack buckle to go along with our amazing shoe buckle shape. Our mystery find of the day, if you have any idea, let me know. A little pile of wheat cents, 5 accordion reeds, a bale seal, and then the stars of the show. In the back, we have the Indian head scent, the barber $50, which is an insane find. But I think topping that, we have the Vermont Civil War era button. Something I've always wanted to find. It's just funny that I found it on the exact same day I found another incredible find. Can't choose which one is better. Let me know what you think. All right, folks, well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. And you know, I'm not exactly sure whether this water is coming back in or still going out, but this snow will certainly be melted by next week. So maybe we'll have to make another trip back here for our next video. Thanks again for watching. Hopefully I'll see you next week.